Okay. All right. If you are watching this on Facebook or if you are joining us on Zoom, we're so glad you're here. Okay, we're just putting into the chat box where we are from. Dimple from Florida. Hey, I know someone on our team who just moved to Florida. Liz just moved to Florida. So that's awesome. Bay Area, New Jersey, Chicago, Wisconsin. I am from Virginia, Kentucky. Man, all over the place. Okay, so fun. All right, thank you all for joining us tonight. This is the first time we as a team have done a class about hormones and thyroid and PCOS. We're a part of a larger team that often talks about these issues, but it just kind of became aware to me that we have some really powerful testimonies on our team from women who have dealt with hormone issues, thyroid issues, PCOS issues, and that have gotten support and relief through natural products and essential oils. So just wanted to take time tonight to share those stories and just explain how it works. But my name is Ruby. If I have not met you, I'm so glad that you're here tonight. I got started with essential oils about 4 years ago. And honestly, when I heard that you could use essential oils for hormones, I was a little bit freaked out because I was like, that's a little too far. Okay, like I'm okay with diffusing oils, I'm okay with using oils for skincare, but when we're using oils for hormones, that seems a bit much. And I was nervous. I was a little bit nervous about it because, and actually on both sides of my family, there's family history of breast cancer and ovarian cancer, and so like messing with hormones or like supporting hormones with anything was really kind of foreign to me, and I wasn't quite comfortable with it. But the more that I learned about it, I realized, man, as we age, our hormone levels drop and they do some weird things. As soon as I hit my 30s, my period changed like quite a bit. My PMS got a lot worse. My headaches got a lot worse, even just after childbirth. Like things changed, my period got a lot heavier, things like that. Like my body was just changing and my hormone levels were just changing as I was getting older. And so as I learned about endocrine disruptors, like hormone disruptors in the products that I was using, I was realizing that, man, like my laundry detergent, my perfume, all these things that I was putting on my body really could like affect my hormone levels and make it do like a roller coaster throughout the month. I also learned that a lot of women, actually the majority of women, don't have enough progesterone in their bodies. And so one of the oils that I first started using once I became comfortable with the idea of using essential oils for hormones was Progessence Plus. You're going to hear about this oil a lot. And the crazy thing is that it has natural progesterone from wild yams, which like just is so crazy. How did they even discover that? But it's an oil that has become a favorite for me and so many women on our team. It's helped me with my PMS. It's helped me just be incredibly regular with my period. It's helped things like my libido. It's helped my skincare. It can even help with like hair growth and like because even that is related to your hormones. Okay, so I just want to give a little bit of an intro of like why I even started using oils for hormones. It was mostly just as I got older, I was realizing that there's changes happening with my cycle. So Lauren is going to take it away from here, and she is basically our team's nurse practitioner. And so she's going to tell you a lot of the science behind this stuff. So take it away, Lauren.
Hi guys. Okay, I have been using oils for a little about 18 months. I actually got Progessence Plus when I got my starter kit, and I got Clary Sage. We'll talk about both of those. And one of the reasons I started using oils was because of PMS. I had weaned my youngest from nursing, and I was like angry a lot, and it came all of a sudden. And this is something that, like, hormonal things, you feel like it's your fault, and it just happens all of a sudden, and then you're just it affects your quality of life. This can also come out in women who are postmenopausal. And so I see this, I worked in primary care, urgent care, and in weight loss, and I have seen hormonal and thyroid issues just a whole lot. First, I do have to say, I am a family nurse practitioner, so this is not personal medical advice. But I want to say that the reason that a lot of us are having more hormonal issues than we were 50 years ago is because of the endocrine disruptors. And the reason for that is because our body actually has low progesterone. That's actually one of the, and it's becoming more mainstream in infertility, is that one of the number one causes of miscarriage is low progesterone. And so, because, like, when you get pregnant, the way you get pregnant is with estrogen, but the way you stay pregnant is with progesterone. And so that's becoming more mainstream. But sorry, I have to serve my daughter. We're good. Okay. Okay. So that's becoming more mainstream, but that type of, thinking is still very new to the traditional world. And so if you bring it up to your OBGYN, they might be like a little bit like, I don't know about that. But the reason we have a low progesterone is because of these endocrine disruptors. So what happens is there's fake estrogens in these products, and your body sees them as estrogen. And then your body, because of its estrogen, the opposite of estrogen is progesterone and testosterone. So then when that happens, our body thinks we're okay, or we overproduce one of them to balance it out. And so we overproduce testosterone, and that causes PCOS. And so PCOS is becoming very common. And people, like, women used to just be diagnosed, like, they had a very specific diagnostic criteria, and it had to have cysts in your ovaries and all of that. And now it's just, if you have the facial hair, the male type facial hair, and if you have weight gain, if you have obviously the male type arm hair, there are certain, it's a lot more broad, and you don't actually have to have the cysts, but you still have those tendencies, and that's because of an overproduction of testosterone. This happens because our body thinks that we need it. Our body thinks we need it, but we don't. And the reason it thinks we need it is because of the fake estrogens. And so first step for healing or for getting improvement is getting rid of the fake estrogens. And that is in a lot of our products. It's mind-boggling to see. And so that is why I highly recommend either making the things yourself or buying it from a company you trust, like Young Living. I trust Young Living. But it's really hard to see on store shelves what has like toxic chemicals and things that you shouldn't be in there. Okay, so what else increases estrogen in the body? Because increased estrogen is not a good thing. Now, we need estrogen. We do need it. But it's also not a good thing if you have too much, because that actually causes a whole myriad of side effects. Acute stress increases estrogen. And so who's not stressed right now? And so when you decrease your stress level, you're going to decrease your estrogen level. And that's going to be a good thing. Estrogen, let's see, other reasons. Okay. I think I talked about all that. Oh, if you are vegan, this is something that is very, very, I don't know, like the signs of these things are not always blatant. You don't always see it automatically. And so some of it's vague and some of it is just hard to see. But I'm telling you, if you're a vegan, you might have a harder time with your hormones because you absolutely need omega-3 fish oil or some type of omega-3 to produce these hormones. And so that's a very helpful thing. And that is why Progestins Plus would be amazing, because it would help supplement that, but not in a way that is similar to birth control. Because I had a lot of patients who would come to me and they would have all these issues, and they would say, well, my OBGYN wants to put me on birth control. Birth control, there's different forms of it. It's synthetic though. And then you also have estrogen and progesterone birth control. And then you have, plain progesterone birth control, but it's all synthetic. All of these studies on breast cancer, cardiovascular disease, all of it is linked to synthetic hormones, not to natural hormones, which is what this is, which is plant derived. And so when you go to the doctor and even if you're postmenopausal and you're having issues, they're going to put you on birth control. They're going to say it's hormone replacement therapy, but it's the same thing. There might be some different dosages. There might be, some different things they do, but it's still synthetic hormones. And what's funny about that is they think it's a lack of estrogen, but it's really the fact that your body thinks that you have too much estrogen. So it's overproducing testosterone. And so they think they need to see up the estrogen to meet that testosterone, when really they need to all come down. And then the progesterone needs to go back up when it realizes it can. And so this just helps to balance it out. You can use too much of this because it does have progesterone in it, but it is not the same thing as a synthetic birth control. Okay. I want to tell you that this makes me even and happy. Like I was saying, like Ruby was saying, there is progesterone from from yams in here, and that is really, really helpful. Other things that are going to be helpful is Endoflex, which is a blend of oils that supports the entire endocrine system. It supports the thyroid. Let me see, is there myrtle in here? Yes, there is myrtle in here. So myrtle is an oil that's really helpful for the thyroid as well. When you use oils for these systems, it's important that you're using Young Living quality oils, because you need all of the chemical constituents in order for it to be effective and be balancing to the body. Otherwise, it can have toxic side effects. And so when you use quality oils, you don't have those toxic side effects because it's actually balancing. Okay, one more thing. When you hear about clary sage, you're going to hear about clary sage and how it increases estrogen. But it's natural, right? It's an actual essential oil. It's a plant. So clary sage, it helps to promote estrogen in the body. So why would you want that? Well, sometimes there's an imbalance. And so sometimes people use different oils at different times of their cycle. But an essential oil by itself cannot do too much in the body, cannot make you go overboard with estrogen. It's balancing because it has all of the chemical constituents. And so that is why it's so important that you're using quality oils for these things and you're not buying clary sage off Amazon, because it could cause an increase and do too much if you were buying it, somewhere else. And so clary sage is super helpful for increasing the estrogen. You're not going to know what your levels are and what you need to do unless you get it checked. Your doctor will probably recommend hormone replacement therapy or birth control or whatever they want to call it. I know that's not a good option for me. And so that's why I opted for this. And I haven't had an issue since. And so that's something that I highly recommend, is to get tested to make sure you know where your levels are at, and then figure out where you need to go from there. I should have brought it down here. There is a book by a naturopath. It's called Taming the Dragon. Is that right, Ruby? And that is super helpful. It helps you troubleshoot with problems. Like if you are having menstrual headaches, if you are having whatever it is, then that helps you to troubleshoot some of those problems. So basically, estrogen dominance and low progesterone. Estrogen dominance might be PMS, it might be painful breasts, it might be PCOS, it might be infertility. There are multiple things that can happen with estrogen dominance, okay? But the way that a lot of women feel better is by increasing that progesterone a little bit. And doing it naturally. Because again, I've done that with the synthetic and it's not the same effects. And you also have side effects to those synthetic drugs, like weight gain is one of them, but there's other things as well. A lot of other things as well to synthetic birth control. So did I answer everything?
I will ask you this. So can you use Progestins Plus while on birth control?
No. That is something that, because first of all, you might be throwing your system into too much. Because like I said, with Progestin Plus, it does contain progesterone, and you don't want to add on top of whatever you're being prescribed. But also, honestly, like there's no case reports of anything, bad happening with this. And they don't want that linked to us, because it is synthetic. The issue is probably with the synthetic. Guys, when I was a new nurse in the PICU, in the Peds ICU, I had a 15-year-old girl who had blood clots throughout her lungs, and it was because of birth control. And so I want to say, like, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not like fear mongering, but I am saying there are very real side effects to synthetic birth control. And they're not just like super uncommon. And so and now this also is not birth control. So even though you are prescribed birth control and that helps you stop pregnancy, this will not stop pregnancy. And so don't think this will take the place of your birth control. It is very helpful, and it is way worth it to figure out with your doctor or healthcare provider how to get off birth control and start something naturally. But it is something that actually, a lot of women use this to get pregnant. And it's been very helpful for a lot of women, as well as cleansing can be very helpful for a lot of women to get pregnant. Cleansing is talking about getting rid of the inflammation and toxic buildup in our gut. And that has allowed a lot of women to get pregnant. And the reason is because our body just isn't functioning as well as it should be with all that toxic buildup. And so there are several cleanses that Young Living offers. And I'm not going to speak to that, but I will say that I've seen a lot of stories, and I think it's very helpful. And I think most of the people in this world probably need that, because we are exposed to so many more chemicals than we were ever. I mean, since the World War II, the chemical industry has exploded, and there's just no boundaries there. They haven't, and they'll put hidden names. There's formaldehyde releasers in products that it won't say formaldehyde, but it is, and it does cause formaldehyde to be produced in your body, or the endocrine disruptors, but it won't say endocrine disruptor. It won't even say phthalate. A lot of people know to look for phthalate. It won't say that. It will say perfume or fragrance or even another word, and you won't know to look for that, because there's just thousands and thousands of chemicals.
Lauren, one more thing. What about IUDs plus Progestins Plus?
Unless, and I don't even know the answer to this. There is one IUD that has no synthetic hormone in it, and it's really just a barrier, like it literally just blocks the ability to get pregnant. That might be okay. I don't know the answer to that. That might be asked by somebody else. But the IUDs, most of the other IUDs all contain synthetic hormones. So no, that is not allowed. And you really you don't want to do that, because that can cause you to feel really icky. Before I started on Progestins Plus, I had to do a round of oral synthetic birth control or synthetic progesterone, because of my cycle hadn't returned after nursing. And, guys, I never felt so bad in my life. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. And then I started on this, and I was so thankful, because I saw a change within 2 to 3 weeks of like just feeling more balanced. My husband does not let me run out of this, and I'm almost out. So it's good stuff.
Yeah. And one thing with what Lauren was saying about those fake estrogens, Lauren, you can correct me if this is wrong, but are they called xenoestrogens? Like
xenoestrogens, yeah. I don't say that because I know it sounds kind of funny. But yeah, they're xenoestrogens, and it's not going to say that on the bottle either. It's there's just so many of them, and your body just sees it, and it blocks the receptors for other things, so it blocks the function of other things, and so it is really amazing the bad effects that they can have on the body. So.
And I mean, one thing that I learned when I was like trying to figure out if I was going to use Progestins Plus was even like with microwavable plastic, like that can release these xenoestrogens into our food, and we're ingesting it, and so like,
and it's not just BPA anymore. It's also they have renamed it. Also putting it in the dishwasher. because it gets hot. And that is something that like, I'm a mom of a 3 and a 5-year-old. So I'm like, man, that's really hard work to like, just keep, but we use a lot more glass than, and like, you know, normal plates than we, just so we can put them in the dishwasher.
But getting rid of like plastics, you know, especially like in our kitchen, I think that's something.
It's the same thing as not, like everyone knows not to drink. Well, I guess everyone knows, I know not to drink water, like water out of a water bottle that's been sitting in your car. And it's for that reason. It's for that exact reason. And so like my kids, like I have a stainless steel, like, they have stainless steel cups that we carry around with us that are, you know, because I don't want them using plastic because they'll be left out in the car sometimes in the heat. And so, yeah, it definitely all plays a role.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Lauren. Okay, Rita is going to share a little bit about her story.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rita, and I've been using oils for close to 2 years now, and I have known that I have PCOS for 3 years now. So, you know, my story, I guess, starts like many of your stories. I went to the gynecologist's office after I had my second child, my son. And I just mentioned to her that my periods were really heavy. And I'm like, you know, it's just not normal. This is not how it used to be. So she took out her little cheat sheet of hormonal imbalance symptoms, and we kind of went down, and I was like, okay, yep. So I had my blood work done, and she just confirmed what she told me already, that I had PCOS. So, and this is kind of goes back to what Lauren said, that PCOS looks different in different women because the variety of symptoms is just so vast. So, so she said, you know, I'm going to put you on birth control. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't really feel comfortable with that. You know, I was on birth control for 10 years when I was younger, and I just did not like it. But I was like, you know what? She's a doctor. So I went on birth control for a few months, and I had some horrible side effects, like dizziness. It just did not feel right. So I wanted to heal my body naturally. So that first year before I got my oils, before I was introduced to oils, I cleaned up my diet. I started exercising, and like that helped a lot in balancing hormones, because I was already kind of ridding my body of those toxins. So, but what I wanted to do, I wanted to take it a next step further, and I learned that, you know, toxins play a big role. They're hormone disruptors. So I got my oils, and I started like basically ditching the chemical cleaners in my house. I started getting rid of anything that said perfume or fragrance on it, like our body washes, shampoos, moisturizers, skin serums, like anything. It took a long time. It took about a year, but I also have breast cancer in my family. And, you know, it's not really talked about, but, you know, my mom, my aunts, they all have hormone issues too. Like I can see the symptoms in them. So it's there, it's in my family. So, you know, it was passed down to me. So I am happy to say that I'm now at a point where my gynecologist feels that I'm like at an acceptable level, that I don't have to be on birth control. So that's like a huge win for me. So just to hear her say that to me, I was like, oh my God, this stuff is really working. So yeah. So in addition to all the oils that I use, I'm going to go over just a few hormone related things. So of course, Progestins Plus, you guys already heard about this a couple times. I use this every day, and it's really helped to regulate my period, balance my mood, which, you know, my family, again, like Lauren said, my family is happy about that, right? And my periods are just better. What?
Rita, could you share how you actually use the Progestins Plus?
Oh yeah, okay. So, sure. So I put a roller bottle on it because I just use it, you know, it's already a serum. So, and then I take it and I roll it up and down my forearm and just, you know, rub it in, and you could use it on the outside of your ankles too. So those are the two places that I use it. So that's that. The other thing that I do every day is drink Manisha. So when you have a hormone imbalance, your body is just more inflamed. Like you just have more inflammation in your body than the normal person would. So Ningxia is so good. It has the main ingredient in Ningxia is wolfberries, and wolfberries have the highest antioxidant rating on the ORAC scale. So what does that mean? Antioxidants counteract the inflammation, so it kind of neutralizes it. So it's so good. Inflammation that'll lead to disease. It'll lead to sickness. So having Ningxia in my life and drinking it every day is just, it's been just such a blessing in keeping everybody healthy, not just me, but my kids. They love it too. They drink it every day. So, so I'm going to get into a couple of the symptoms I have. So, I have a hair loss. I've experienced that, but then so those of you that are on this call right now that already use oils, you probably know about the mermaid hairspray. It's lavender, cedarwood, and rosemary. I use that every day as well. You know, I use it in my hair mask, I spray it in my hair. It's great for stimulating hair growth and then reducing the hair fall and just keeping your hair really moisturized. So I use that to grow hair, and I use sulfurzyme for the quality of the hair that's growing. So sulfurzyme is a dietary supplement. It promotes healthy hair, nail, and skin and joints. So this supports the new hair that's growing out of my hair, so growing out of my head. So I love this. I don't go a day without it. There's actually 300 capsules in here, so it's gonna last you a long time. You only need 2 a day, so I think it's like it lasts 5 months. So it's a really, really good investment and really good value. The last thing I wanted to talk about is Super B. So I love Super B because another symptom is mood swings. So Super B is great because it helps stabilize the mood, helps stabilize your mood, and kind of just lifts the fog, I guess. Like, you know, you have mom brain, and then with hormone issues, you have like that fog too, that hormonal fog. And this Super B really has helped me kind of just stay on track, get out of the fog, and just helps my mood in general. So yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. Thank you, Rita. Okay, Aarti is gonna share her story.
Hey guys, my name is Aarti, and I've been using oils for close to 2 years. And when I started learning about essential oils, I think what caught my attention was products that we were already using and that were most of our products were not clean. When I say not clean, they were having synthetic ingredients, harsh chemicals, and fragrance and perfumes and whatnot. And it came as a shock. It really did. It did hit me pretty bad because I've been active most of my adulthood, and I really put an effort to have an active lifestyle. And when I came to the US, which was almost close to 9 years now, which is almost 9 years now. So the minute I stepped into US, I was detected of thyroid, and it was just 3 months before I came to the US. I got my blood work done, and I realized, I mean, everything came out normal. So it did hit me bad when I came to know that I was having thyroid. And also, I never knew thyroid was a lifetime medication. I was like, okay, what's happening? I'm not even 30, and I am like having thyroid. I'm going to have to take medication all my life, and that was not at all a pretty it was not at all a good thought. But with every like how Lauren mentioned, how Rita mentioned, you have different symptoms for different people. So it took me almost 6 months to understand that my hormones were not right. And also at that point of time, I was also on birth control. So I think everything came together. The things that the change in products that I've started using here in the US were not clean. So it was like a sudden jolt to probably my hormones, and it didn't obviously react well. So going back 2 years, when I got to know that this could be the products that I was using is probably one of the major reasons that was not working well with me, I immediately knew if I take out the non-toxic the toxic stuff from my life, probably I might help support my body and help maybe recover a little bit. I was not sure what I was, I mean, if it would give me that result, but it did. So I got rid of all the toxic products in our house. Thieves is something that I 100% vouch. uh, they are plant based, they are, they do not have any harsh chemicals, everything is plant derived. And changing things like your dish soap, your hand soap, your cleaner, and your laundry soap, these four things are so vital. You literally use these four things every day, and you're constantly in touch with the products that you use. So it was very conscious effort. I got rid of all those things, whether I had them full or not. I knew I had to get rid of it because I was a new mom, and I knew if I'm going to use it, she's also going to get affected in some way or the other. And it was thanks to her that gave me an extra push, and I got rid of that. I switched to thieves, and then I put in my work of doing regular workouts and also watching what I was eating, and I started using oils. So, like everyone mentioned here, progesterone is like a must. And then Lauren mentioned about Mytel. So that's how actually I started using. So I use Mytel on my thyroid. So I also put a roller top. So it just it's like an easy button. It makes your life easy. So just roll it on your thyroid. You can roll it every day in the morning, first thing in the morning when you get up. Or if you have a certain time of the day that you would make an effort to consciously remember, just go with it. It's okay. So I used it regularly. Then I think 6 months after using, I went for my blood work. The doctor said your levels have, like, they're almost close to normal. So she reduced my dosage. When I was pregnant, my dosage doubled. So from that double level coming to normal level is a huge win. And I knew what I was doing. I was consciously putting effort towards getting rid of things that were not working in with our body. So what oil was that? This is called Mytel. In fact, Mytel is an oil that is part of the Endoflex oil as well. So if you're looking to support your overall hormone, then Endoflex is the one. But if you're only looking to support thyroid, this is the oil which is the main oil for thyroid. So I use this. And but I have been switching between Mytel and Endoflex because I like to also take care of my other hormones. So so these are the four things, and Nisha plays a huge role for brain fog, mood swings. Everyone shows symptoms differently. It becomes very hard when you are having hypothyroidism, and then your weight increases. It's a struggle to get the weight under control. For me, it was more like, tummy issues. I used to have constipation. So everyone has different issues, but to recognize that your body needs extra support, these things made a huge impact. And I am free of my medication. So that's like a huge thing. 8 years I've used a medication, and now I no longer need the medication. So that's really, really huge. So I really encourage everyone to look into what products you're using around the home, especially your body lotions. That's like directly in touch with your skin. So it's a must. It's the first thing that you would want to check, and then the rest of the things that we all mentioned. So that's my story. And if you have any questions, you can always come back and ask any one of us.
Thank you, Aarti. Yeah, it is interesting because when I was like nervous about using Progestins Plus, I was like, okay, how is it going to work that I'm actually going to put it on my skin and it's actually going to go into my body and affect my hormones? Well, everything else I was putting on my body, like Aarti said, my body lotion was affecting my hormones, my hand soap was affecting my hormones, my laundry soap was affecting my hormones, because everything that touches our skin can be absorbed. Not everything is absorbed by your skin, but some things definitely are small enough to be absorbed into your skin, into your bloodstream, and affect our bodies. Okay, so getting rid of the toxic stuff, again, like so many of the ladies said, getting rid of stuff that has fragrance, parfum, phthalates in it, parabens in it, okay, petroleum, all of that stuff, getting rid of those products, and either switching over to Young Living's products or making your own. Okay, there's so many recipes for hand soap, so many recipes for body lotion. Like, you can do it, okay? And it is incredibly worth it. I will say, like, as a team, we have seen so many positive results. Go ahead, Lauren.
I did want to mention, we also have a lot of supplements that are geared specifically towards hormones and thyroid. Like, we have a supplement called Thyromin. We have a supplement called Endo Guys, and that is kind of Empower Guys. Those two can be, I think they're kind of interchangeable. Men typically take the Power Jazz, but it's also helpful for women. I think more postmenopausal. Again, this is going to be something that you're going to want to get that book, Taming the Dragon. I'll have to link it in the group. And that would be really helpful to show you which one you might need, or just talking to some people about that. And talking to your healthcare provider. But also Femigen seems to be one that a lot of women recommend. I don't have any personal experience with that, but we also have other supplements called Cortistop that are about decreasing stress and decreasing cortisol. I have taken that before, and I can speak, and that's one that you shouldn't stay on. You're just supposed to do it like, every use it for a short period of time, and it decreases your stress level. And so there is a lot of help that can be had, and there's a lot of products that we have that can help with that. But the biggest thing you can do is getting rid of the toxic personal care products, and using oils to help make the things that you want to make, or buy them from whatever company you trust. Most likely for most of us, it's going to be Young Living.
Yeah, awesome.
I did want to add one point. So all four of us who spoke here today, we are all moms, but I want to mention that, even if you're not a mom, we all have different symptoms. So how I had thyroid for 8 years, that is something, I didn't realize that I was so ignorant. So there can be anything that you might not be aware, but this is something that you can make a conscious effort, and walking into motherhood will be so much easier and so much blissful. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't start using oils until after I was pregnant, and I wish I had started earlier. Yeah, but okay, so I think there is one.
I have a question about PCOS. Shouldn't take cortisol because of DHEA. Yeah, DHEA is one thing that we thought was going to be this like wonderful help to a lot of women, and I think it is helpful. But that's again something that you need to just talk about with your healthcare provider and see where they're at on it, and you could have them look at the supplements or the ingredients, and then just do your research. Look at that book. That book is so helpful. This isn't in print anymore, is it?
I have mine in front of me too. So you can actually get copies off of Amazon. They're not making any new ones.
Okay, so this is super helpful. And then the book, The Releasing the Dragon with it, and or the Taming the Dragon. And it's just super helpful to help you walk through it. There is a book for pretty much any type of protocol that you're looking to do. So
absolutely. So one of the oils that we all kind of mentioned was clary sage, and clary sage is one that you actually can help during labor and delivery, but it also can just help when you're on your period. Okay, and so I use an oil called Sclerescence, which has clary sage in it. It's a blend. So it has peppermint, it has fennel, it has clary sage in it. I think that's it. Yeah, but anyhow, this oil has helped me like the week before my period with PMS, during my period, all of that. And so we are going to open this up for questions. You can totally unmute yourself. And I did want to mention, if you aren't with Young Living yet and you want to get started with these products, you want to start that non-toxic lifestyle, just reach out to the person who invited you. And when you join our team tonight, I will actually send you a free bottle of Sclerescence, because this one is definitely helpful as you're on your cycle and before your cycle. Okay, so if you're not a member yet, just reach out to the person who invited you and ask them how you can become a member. There's lots of different kit options for switching over to non-toxic goodness. So it's called Sclerescence. Okay, it's called Sclerescence. And I actually just put a roller top on mine. A lot of these oils, we put roller tops on them because it's like easier to apply, and I just apply it on my neck or my forearm. Okay, another place to put these oils like Progessence Plus, thanks Arthi, Progessence Plus, Endoflex, all these oils, like basically you want to put them where you have thin skin, where they will easily get absorbed. So your neck typically has pretty thin skin, your forearm has thin skin, your inner thighs have thin skin. Some people actually put it like right on their tummies, because your tummy actually has thin skin as well. Someone mentioned outside of the ankles, and that goes back to like the meridian points, if you're familiar with that, of how everything is connected, right? So putting things like around our feet where it connects actually like to our reproductive organs is really neat. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself or type it into the chat box. We are happy to answer whatever we can. Any questions? Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to Lauren, Rita, and Arthi for sharing your stories. I really appreciate it. Feel free to reach out to any of us with further questions or information. We're happy to help. All right. Thank you all for being here. Take care.
Everyone.